Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet. It is Coach Kyle Evans coming to you out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Welcome back, man. It's Thursday. Welcome back to Quitters Week, ladies and gentlemen. This week, more often than not, is when people quit on their goals. They quit on their resolutions. They quit on the ideas for the new, strong, powerful life, whatever insert motivational thing here that they had for the year. Now, I know that you're here, so that tells me one thing off the top, that you're a growth-minded person, that you do want more. And so if you have quit, if you have messed up, if you have failed, that's okay. The content all week long is directed at you. So go back and listen to some great things, man. We introduced the week on Monday. Coach Hudson Warren came in and talked about things that we should quit on Tuesday. Yesterday, we talked about failure. And thank you to each and every one of you who reached out about that episode yesterday, man. Meant a lot. I'm glad that it was helpful to you. And today's Thursday. That means we're serving up a brand new thing. And I did not want to have you guys suffer through just listening to me talk this morning. So I brought in a ringer. I brought in a guy who literally lights up every room he walks into. He's handsome. He's loquacious. His personality is A1 day one. He's a family man. He's bilingual. Like, the dude is just a rock star. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me introduce you, or reintroduce you, I should say, to my man, Bold Coach Steven. Come on down, buddy.
Hey, man, that's so cool. Thank you so much for the introduction. What a great introduction. It's like I wrote it myself.
Yeah, I'm going to take payment for that after. So.
I will. I'm going to pay you because that made me feel good this morning, dude. Thank you. Dang. Appreciate that. I needed that little lift me up.
That's what we're here for, dude. Just pumping up the people, pumping up the guests, make sure everybody has a good day, and we go tackle it, especially during Quitters Week, Steven.
That's right. That's right. What a great week to do it on.
I mean,
come
dude,
in.
the people who do not have the pleasure yet of knowing you, can you give us a little blurb? How did you get here? Who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Arizona boy through and through. I say that because there's a lot of transplants to Arizona, and I was born and raised in Arizona. Got into real estate back in 2010, originally in construction and property management, built a couple of companies doing that, and then transitioned to the sales side because I felt like that's where the good money is and better opportunity as well. Shortly joined Keller Williams after that in 2015. And then took Bold that next year, beginning of 2016. It was amazing and changed my life, which is why I'm here, and then became a Bold coach a few years after that, 2018. Because the first time I took Bold, I said, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I figured out what it would take to get there. And I said, well, I could do that. And 2018 became a Bold coach. So been a Bold coach ever since 2018. So got a couple of years under my belt now doing that. And then during the pandemic, of course, I became a team leader as well because Bold, took a pause for a little bit, became a team leader for 2 years. That was amazing. One of the biggest challenges I've ever gone through as well.
Sure.
Yeah. And then after the 2 years, kind of went back to doing Bold full-time and selling real estate once again. I'm also a real estate investor. I own a pretty good portfolio of rental properties. Most importantly, though, I have 3 amazing kids and been married coming up on 15 years. I've been married. That's right. I might have got married when I was 15, Never. Just kidding.
Oh, man.
I was young when I got married. And that's one of the coolest things. I do speak Spanish, like you mentioned. I am bilingual. That's so cool. I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things I'm proud about as well. That was tough. I learned the second language as an adult living in Mexico. So talking about not quitting, that's one of the easiest things to quit is learning another language. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, man, I'm quadlingual. If we include all the languages I've quit trying to.
There you go. I can hum in Italian. It's pretty cool.
Send it. Let's hear it.
Will do. There you go.
Steven, man,
that's me.
Amazing life so far, right? I love the tip and the feather, the cap. You saved the best for last, right? Is a long, awesome marriage, awesome family, man, right? The business is great and your priorities are very focused where they should be. And it's one of the things I respect about you the most. So when we're talking about Quitters Week, I know you had some ideas for us today, right? So what are we talking about today?
Well, I think it's a great conversation to have, because we're at the beginning of the year. We're talking about there's a lot of people, I guess, talking about New Year's resolutions.
Sure.
I personally love New Year's resolutions just because I get excitement about the new year in January, and we're just coming off the holidays, and I'm pretty good at taking a break during the holidays and just letting things go and enjoying Christmas. I know you love Christmas too. And it's so fun to just like let go and then restart. And I always feel so rejuvenated after the holidays. A little bit worn out from not working, just being with my family and my kids and enjoying the holidays and friends and all of that. And yet, like, I'm always so ready to go. And so it's always fascinating to me that so many people give up on those New Year's resolutions. What is it, like 96% of people give up on their New Year's resolutions within like the first couple of weeks? It's like first 3 weeks, I think, is the stat there. So that's fascinating. I never really understood that. And yet I get it too, because anytime you're attempting to make a change and do something that you haven't been doing, like it's a habit, right? It goes back to the habit or the consistency. It's making a decision every single day to show up differently than you have for the past however much time, years in most cases. And so it makes sense. And also it's a matter of commitment, right? And so that's where I think we should take that conversation in my mind.
So when you talk about, changing something you've been, right, which is one of the hardest things because you have that pre-programmed habit. I've been telling people, like, because I've been on this health journey for a few years now, and I'm in the best shape of my life at 36. And people are like, oh, that's awesome. But one of the things I tell them is this. Yes, and it also means I spent 36 years not being it. Right. It was a commitment. So when you talk about, you're really into these New Year's resolutions and doing it and making that change, what are some strategies or some things that help you continue when more often than not people fall off?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first thing, and we always say this, and yet it's the most important thing, because if you don't get past it, nothing else matters. It's your mindset around it.
Yeah.
And so let me go a little bit deeper on what I'm talking about. So talking about the health thing, that's a common one at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I teach this, and I heard this from my friend, Cody Gibson, and I loved it. He says, we live in what we call the microwave generation.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, like, we could take a dinner and put it in the microwave, and 30 seconds later, we got a hot dinner. Now, it's not a very good dinner, right? And yet we have a hot dinner. And so in many aspects of our life, we anticipate those type of results. So we're on this January 16th, and I've been eating salads and chicken and doing sit-ups every day. I should have a six-pack. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, but we forget that for the last 30-something years or 6 years or however long it's been, you haven't been doing it. You've been eating cheeseburgers or pizza or whatever it is that you've been, and your body is just barely saying, whoa, what is going on? And just barely start, especially after 2 weeks, like your body's barely starting to like see some small changes. You might have dropped a couple of pounds right out the gate. But my point is, of all of this, is that sometimes we got to give ourselves a little bit of grace on the results. We want results right now. And so if we don't see the instant gratification, we tend to say, our mind gets in the way and say, is this really worth waking up early and then eating this stuff that's really not that good, but it's supposed to be good for me? Like, we start creating these stories that don't always make sense. So it's really easy thing to go back to our old ways. That's what I'm talking about with our mindset. We got to be prepared for that, for each step of that process on the way to achieving our goal.
Yeah, each step, said another way, is every level another devil, right? We
Oh yeah.
always think that, hey, this each step or each plateau or each new level, where it's once we get there, it's the destination philosophy or fallacy, right? It's like when I get there, then I'm going to be happy, or it'll be easier and it'll be
Right.
great.
There you go.
And it's not. Just
Yes. Well,
cool, man.
fall in love with the journey.
That's right.
Fall in love with the journey. Like what I see with you, and I've known you now a couple of years. Every time we talk, somehow we get back to the health thing, and we start talking about vitamins and like a workout or something you're doing to just get that extra edge. But that just shows me that you love that part of it. Like that's the fun part to us, is like finding. Sure, there's days we don't want to hit the gym or we don't want to go on that run or whatever it
Oh
is.
yeah.
And it's like, if we can go back to, oh, dude, this is a new, different angle to go and attack this mindset of health and being in better shape and feeling better and having the energy we want. You know what I mean? Like fall in love with the journey was what I'd say to that.
That's awesome, man. So our mindset's got to be in check. We got to have that commitment level up front. And also, from what I'm hearing you say, is the understanding that to do something great or to do something new or to do something better for us, it's going to be challenging.
Yeah. Yes.
So when those challenges come, and they will come, ladies and gentlemen, we're not just bringing you glad tidings and great joy. We're telling you things are going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
What does Steven do, man? I mean, you're just a perennial powerhouse of continuing to get better in all areas of your life. So like what happens next?
That's a good question. And I appreciate the pump up. Like I really do. One of my love languages is words of affirmation. So thank you. And I think about all of the things, yesterday I got to listen to John Maxwell, and he's on these series of failure, right? Fail forward. You don't fail. You either fail or you learn is another one. He's got another one coming out. He just announced yesterday. And I think about what you just said, and I think about all the many times that I've failed, and I think that's the thing that it is the differentiator. I don't think I said that word right, but the thing that makes us different is if you're just willing to not give up on your vision, your dream, your goal. It's a bigger goal than only a 1-year goal. I think it's got to be a bit bigger than that. It's got to be a vision that's more amplified. Go out 3-5 years and like say, that's really where I'm going. Because then if you like fail, and I use that word lightly, right? Fail in the first few months or even the first year, you're okay because you still have the time to achieve your 3-year or your 5-year goal. And so make that vision a bit bigger. A bigger vision will allow you the grace that sometimes is necessary. Some things like the bold coach, I became a bold coach a lot faster than I thought I would because I gave myself like a 5 to 7 year timeline and I achieved it. Other times I've given myself only a year and it took me 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some would say that's a failure. In my mind, in hindsight, I was like, okay, well, I did the thing. It just took me a little bit longer than I anticipated. And so amplifying the vision would be the first answer I'd say to that. That's a complicated question that you asked, and I love it. So
amplifying the vision and giving yourself grace. I think one of the things that you said is one that it resonates with me because I struggle with it so much. Guys, on the DISC, if you don't know what that is, personality assessment, I'm a high D. Like I want to go, I want to get it done now. And microwave society, right? The good things in life, usually the goals, they take time. And in my case, more often than not, more time than I want it to take.
Exactly.
So giving yourself appropriate time horizons with that, and that helps that mindset piece of it. So we've got mindset, we've got amplifying the vision, we've got appropriate time horizons. What about accountability, man? How does that show up for you? Do you run to that? Do you run away from that? Like, what does that look like?
That's a good question too. So the accountability piece, I think everyone that's exceeded at a high level has some type of accountability And most accountability starts with yourself. And yet that only goes so far. To what'd you call it? The devil,
every level, another devil.
Every level. And so I think everyone has a different threshold of that. And so for mine, the first few levels, I hold myself accountable pretty well. And you got to learn to know yourself too. After those first few levels, when you start kind of looking cool, that's when you gotta, in my mind, I need to go and hire someone or implore help from someone else, a coach, if you will, a teacher, a mentor, someone to help me get past my own level of achievement. If we're going back to E to P, right, the 6 personal perspectives. So it depends on you and how you function with accountability. And most people, I've learned, we don't love accountability. Because accountability, if set up correctly, is going to call out your BS. And that's believability scale, right? On the days that, just in case you got to clarify that, you know what I'm saying? It's going to make sure, like, okay, today, because like I said, we create stories in our mind and we tend to give into those stories. And yet with the correct accountability, you overcome that story and you just do the thing, whatever it is that you've set out to do, which will achieve the results. We know action leads to the results. And so, yes, accountability is paramount. And then it's just a matter of what type of accountability, because sometimes too much accountability leads to too much stress.
Sure.
And I think in coaching, we don't always talk about that piece of it. Right. And so I think that we got to understand, because too much stress, it's like working out, going back to the workout. That's my favorite thing when we talk about this. Working out, you get too much weight too quickly. If you're lifting weights, what happens? You pull a muscle or you get hurt, right? And so there is a place there that is, you can't go too far past that. So creating too much stress can be a bad thing. And that's what I'm saying. You got to learn. Like sometimes we get into that boat and so, okay, go back, let's reanalyze and figure out what happened. And that's, to my mind, the key to this whole success thing. It's like, it's okay if you fail, like that's part of it. Now let's go back and look, what was the cause of that failure? And if you can really take a hard look and say, okay, we're going to change it this time and continue to pursue that big goal, that, I don't know if I'm going a little bit general. I apologize. And I trust you're following me though. Right. And so the accountability is key though. Let's wrap it back into accountability. You must have accountability. Too much pressure, too much stress on the accountability side can be a bad thing. You must have personal accountability and some type of outside accountability as well.
It's it's funny. You hear things like common and bold, no pressure, no diamonds.
Yeah.
One of the things you don't hear often is pressure bust pipes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you're right. There is a balance there. It's funny. There seems to be, as I'm listening to you just drop these gems and hammers on us, there's this golden web or golden thread that's tying it all together, at least in my mind, from what I'm hearing, is there's this underlying A word, and it's awareness. When you're talking about the mindset piece, right? It's having the awareness of appropriate time horizons and giving yourself grace and pushing yourself. Yeah. But then you also brought up the point of, man, accountability. Like the first few levels, you're okay. But then you have the awareness to know, hey, man, I can only go this far alone.
That's right.
Now I've got to go seek out others. Man, that's huge. We say it all the time. Self-awareness equals self-mastery. And you have this nuance level of awareness going through all of these things of your life. And that seems to be like a hidden superpower, Steve.
Thank you. I love that word. So I'm so glad you brought that up. And I'll let you in a little bit more about me, if that's okay.
Please.
So a good friend of mine, he got pretty heavily into addiction and drugs, and he approached me. So he's had ups and downs, and if you've ever had someone like that in your life, you kind of know the situation, right? Those things can be powerfully negative impact and have a powerfully negative impact in your life. So long story short, he got clean for some time, and he approached me about a business opportunity and an opportunity to help someone or help a group of people. And we decided together to open up a addiction recovery, sober living house. And so we bought a house with the intention to bring in individuals that had struggled with addiction. And we brought them in, and they would live in the house. They'd rent a house. We'd help them find a job. We'd help them on the process of recovery and addiction recovery and overcoming. It's like what happens is you get into these challenges and you completely burn bridges and you lose pieces of your life. And then you go to rehab, or you go to jail, and then you go to rehab, and then you get out of those situations. You have no credit and you have no place to go. And the only places that will accept you are places you don't want to put yourself around again. Right. Mm-hmm. And so they tend to fall back into their old ways because it's so easy. It's right there in front of them. And so our goal was to create an environment and opportunity for them to step out of that life and just get reestablished. Right. And I say all of that because the first lesson that they learned in rehab, those individuals that struggled with addiction, is awareness. Awareness is the first step to change, right? You must identify the fact, the problem that you have. You are an addict. Like they stand up in class and they say, I'll give you an example. My name is Stephen and I'm an addict. And here's my challenge. Now, here is my process of overcoming this addiction that I have. And so, yes, awareness, I think, is one of the things that is so important to achieving a goal and achieving the life that we desire. It's a great word. Love that word, bro.
That was awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's funny. And it's like everything you said is so poignant and powerful. And guys, sometimes we if you haven't been affected by that sort of thing, right, or had people in your world or know anybody who struggled with that, sometimes, at least, I could just be speaking for myself and the people I know, sometimes we put ourselves away from them. That's them, that's not us. Mm-hmm. Right? And it is us, because like you said, the main thing is awareness, guys. Awareness is the key to changing any problem. Sure, they have a problem with addiction. What do you have a problem with?
That's right.
Commitment, pushing yourself, self-talk, health, wealth. Like, we all have our struggles and our trials. What is the awareness and what is the process then that you're going to apply to it? Chef's kiss, Stephen.
Thank you. I love that. Yeah, I think you said that really well. Habits. We all have habits that serve us and habits that don't. And when you set a goal that's challenging, you begin to learn more about yourself around these habits. And then you get to choose, am I going to continue to do the habits that serve me, or am I going to continue to pursue the habits that don't? And it's a choice every day. That's why we go back to the bold truth, right? Happiness is a choice. It really is. And you choose the habits that are going to serve you, or you don't. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Whether that's drug addiction or an addiction to watching too much Netflix, like whatever it is, those are said. If you don't want to use the word addiction, because that's a strong word, use the word habit. Mm-hmm. What habits are there that are holding you back from achieving this year's New Year's resolution or this year's business goal commitment? I think that's a great recap to what we're talking about here. So identify these habits as you struggle through them this year. You want to achieve your goal, and whether you do it in 16 months or 18 months or 20 months or 36 months, it doesn't matter. What's more important is identifying the habits, because when you begin to learn your habits and then focus on the ones that serve you, you can achieve anything you want, bro. That's the best part.
You're just filling cups today, Stephen.
Got me all riled up, bro. I appreciate it.
I know, right? Isn't it great?
Yes, it is.
Man, we only have so much time with them, so let's tie a bow on them and send them on their way. What are some final thoughts for these people listening to this, man? What is your mic drop moment for the crowd, the audience today?
Yeah, okay. Grit, don't quit. I love that one. Find fulfillment, right? Find fulfillment. Graham Cochran. I was listening to him at Better Up yesterday. I told you about that. And one of the things he kept saying over and over again, and in all honesty, I'm attempting to understand it still. He said, leverage your own uniqueness. You bring your own, and this is the way I've kind of thought about it. You bring a uniqueness to the world that literally no one else can. And so leverage that. Be you, be the authentic you. And then identify, like we said, be aware of the things that we need to improve, your habits that are holding you back and the habits that are serving you. And why not focus on the ones that serve you and your goals?
Goodness gracious. Why you got to leave us with such a banger like that? Now my mind is going in a million different places. Leverage your uniqueness. That one's going to haunt me the rest of the day, buddy.
I mean, it's stuck with me since 2 days now. 48 hours I've been rolling with that. So,
oh, man. Guys, go get you some Steven in your life. Reach out to him, find him. TL's OP's out there. Great person to have come do a bold for you guys. Steven, if they want to send you referrals, man, for the sales side, how would they do that?
Oh, wonderful. So call me or text me. That's the easiest way. Can I put it in the chat or no?
Yeah, man. On Facebook, you can drop it in the comment section there.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat or Instagram. I love Instagram. So follow me. I'll follow you right back. I love to connect. That's how I stay in touch with people. The easiest way, Instagram or phone number at @McNair-L. I'll put it in the comments. I'll put my phone number too. I share it with everyone. So in Bold, dude, I do a group chat with everybody, and I put my number in the group chat and all the group chats. So I'm in like 57 different group chats right now, more than that, bro. And yeah, so I love to share and I love to connect. So call me, text me. I'm here. I want to connect with you.
That's awesome, man. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us today. I trust now you can see why I love this guy in my circle. Man, go have a great one, and we will see you tomorrow.
Later, Phil.